death upon me. Blood in my eye, dog, and I can't see. I'm tryna be what I'm destined to be. And niggas tryna take my life away. I put a hole in a nigga for fucking with me. My back on the wall, now you gon' see. Better watch how you talk when you talk about me. Cause I'll come and take your life away.
Bati-Bati Book Club.
Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, those who lie betwixt or outside, to yet another episode of the Bati-Bati Book Club. I am your host, the Kazuyuki Fujita of Smoochin' Spicy Mamacitas, Squill, joined, as always, by Walk. How you doing, buddy?
And I'm doing good.
Are you having a seizure?
No, I'm gold dust.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking about doing a Dustin impression, but I got scared, so I just jumped straight to gold dust.
A gold dust themed seizure.
Mm-hmm. Only the best for me.
When this goes up, I guess it'll probably be up tomorrow or sometime this weekend. There will be a very exciting interview coming to the channel soon. So there is that.
I really hope it's Rampage Jackson.
Oh yeah,
I bet it's Rampage Jackson.
We're gonna talk about titties. We're gonna talk about the one time he did the cool thing, the power bomb, and then how he was bad for the entire rest of his career.
Oh man, what? Yeah, that's true. That's
One of the saddest parts about getting into MMA is seeing the highlights of Rampage Jackson, and then realizing that he was actually quite bad at fighting.
He was pretty sweet against Shrek though.
That he was at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport Bushido.
Friend of the show, Josh Barnett. Ding! I know you're watching.
It's weird that I've hit a place where we can actually say friend of the show, Josh Barnett.
It is fucking strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's weird that I have spoken. I wouldn't say that I am friends with Ben Rothwell, but I have spoken to Ben Rothwell. So we are layers separated from the UFC, not by much.
Well, you forget BKFC heavyweight champion.
BKFC heavyweight champion. I've seen the belt. I've saw it in person.
Hell fucking yeah.
It's like right behind the receptionist. It's
There's
hilarious.
There's something beautiful about like a world title belt in like a strip mall ass dojo.
Well, it's no longer a strip mall ass dojo.
It's an overpass.
It is an overpass dojo. It is like you have to pass underneath the Trolls Bridge and you can find Ben Rothwell's dojo.
I would expect nothing less from a BKFC champion.
Shout out to all the boys at Ensign Vidor's BJJ classes. Salute, if you will. And
speaking of mixed martial arts,
who
are we talking about this week?
We are talking about one Shinya Aoki. What do we know about Shinya Aoki?
Okay, so Shinya Aoki, his name, which escapes me his nickname, which escapes me at the moment, and it's also Japanese.
Diaz.
Japanese, so it would I would butcher it. But means the master of flying submissions. And so he was a judo prodigy. Prodigy.
Yeah, I got you. I hear you.
And yeah, it's Tobakan Judon. And so he's the grandmaster of flying submissions.
What a funny nickname. What a funny nickname for such a terrifying human being.
Yeah, and so he was a judo prodigy, and then was inspired in part by men like Kazushi Sakuraba, our subject of our first episode, to take up mixed martial arts. He came in the closing days of Pride, then fought for Dream, Ryzen, and most recently ONE FC. There's like a Bellator fight in there. He's basically been everywhere and done everything outside of the UFC in mixed martial arts.
Very prolific, very cool. Very scary. I'm deeply scared of this man.
Please
Uh,
describe his physique and general appearance for
um,
the viewers.
okay. What if you created a twink, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shredded and all, but gave them like a face that like went through several MMA classes. Um, it's very there's no like bulge. It's very ripped, but
Mm-hmm.
not bulging. It's like he never drank a sip of water and always
Yeah,
worked out. It is it's an insane physique.
and it will be on screen, but for our audio listeners, describe his gay little pants that he's very proud of.
Oh, okay. So depending on the era of Aoki, which sometimes you'll get old school shooter Aoki,
Mm-hmm.
Aoki in kick pads, or his favorite designs, his Aoki pants. The Aoki pants come in many different colors. Some of them being Aoki just on his like on like one of the legs. We'll talk about it in during one of the matches. But they're like multicolor. I think there's the pansexual colors on one of them. I
Hell
think.
fucking yeah.
Yeah, pansexual icon Shinya Aoki.
Ally of the year.
I love a funny thing that our corner of the wrestling world does is that we just assign like these old Japanese dudes to be like bisexual icons.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
yeah.
yeah, this is fair.
I mean sometimes it's text, but also it's pretty funny. It's I assume that's how it is in the history community where they get like Charles the Fourth and he's like an asexual icon. I don't know anything
Well,
about Charles the
it's
Fourth.
also that there's a weird trend in the lineage of particular weird old catch guys of
Mm-hmm.
acting like kind of fruity for fun,
Yeah. Yeah.
Hikaru Sato, whose whole thing is running out in a thong,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and then also being an alleged MMA fighter.
Allegedly.
Hmm.
That's how it normally turns out for some of these catch guys is that they go into MMA and they have alleged careers.
Yeah, Hikaru Sato is Yoshihiro Takayama's sole win in MMA, and that one's a work.
Takayama has probably the funniest not pro wrestling. He has a sweet pro wrestling career. MMA career. Has the coolest match of all time. Gets submitted by Bob Sapp somehow. Is that a work? Was that a work?
No.
No. I've this dude has had the coolest match ever and the best match ever
It's
and
well, it's
the funniest match ever.
there's a category of pride fights which is
Too stupid
mostly
to be a work.
too
Correct.
ugly and stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that I do yourself a favor and watch Bob Sapp versus Yoshihiro Takayama. That's a
Please
suggestion
do.
other than probably do you have any other prerequisite stuff?
Oh, I just wanted to describe how he then got into pro wrestling.
Okay.
So he actually he's gained most prominence in DDT for pro wrestling, but he actually starts in the IGF.
The best promotion ever.
The most crackheads promotion ever. We love you, Inoki. It was his birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, Aoki.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So he comes in at the IGF because Inoki was addicted to MMA fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get to this, but he's like amazing.
Yeah,
With
he is fucking shockingly good at being a pro wrestler.
and then he just like after he does a little bit of IGF for a few years, focuses on solely fighting, and then in the last couple of years has been hanging out in DDT and just immediately becomes the best guy in the promotion. And so he recently held their top title.
Which is saying a lot because DDT is one of the best promotions in the world going.
Yeah, Kazusada Higuchi is maybe the best ace in the world.
It's insane. He is a freak of nature.
And so today we're going to appreciate both his pro wrestling and MMA career. And actually very soon he is having his retirement fight on
I'm sure
March the
that'll go well.
23rd versus a Filipino gentleman whose name escapes me. But
Honestly,
yes,
that sounds like an MMA nickname.
yeah, Filipino gentleman.
Yeah.
It's one of the ONE FC boys that he's faced a bunch of times.
I'm sure
But
this will only go well.
let's go to IGF for our first
IGF,
match.
awesome. We are talking about Shinya Aoki versus Matsukatsu Funaki.
Let's fucking go.
Funaki has got to be the tannest Japanese man ever, right up next to Tomoaki Hanma.
Yes.
Insanely orange. And
Also, in insane shape given his age.
he is okay. He is like of the there's three musketeers in Pancrase, right?
Yeah.
Suzuki, Funaki, and third guy. That name
Uh,
escapes me.
jacked white boy Ken Shamrock.
Oh yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funaki is easily the second most handsome of the three.
Yeah.
It's not fair because Suzuki is literally a model.
Yeah.
But Funaki is just like this beast. Absolutely like shredded, just huge bastard, orange. Typically wears green, but he has decided to go with a white. He
And
looks
to
sweet as
this
fuck.
day, importantly, talk about the longevity of the Pancrase boys. To this day, still a good to great pro wrestler, much like Minoru Suzuki.
He's still going? Funaki?
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
he had a match with Josh Barnett last year that was
Oh.
in my Josh Barnett primer that fucking ruled.
I did watch that video. Yeah. Okay.
He's
Yeah.
still awesome.
He is still awesome. Yeah, okay.
Like
Wow, that
basically
escapes me.
he
Yeah.
shows up to
crazy.
have like 3 or 4 Noah matches per year, all
Cool.
under like
Gold
either
band division.
UWF rules or just like knockout or submission.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right.
Yeah. He
Noah
also did
be like that.
Bloodsport.
Cool.
So yeah, he just shows up to have fun under like his old rules or do some like old man tag. But
And
then when
isn't that yeah.
he does have the matches in that style, it's almost always the match of the night.
And isn't that what you want at the end of the day from your old man wrestlers? You
Yeah.
just have fun and just do stuff.
And
Like-
like his quality over quantity is really impressive.
Yeah. Shout out Matsukatsu Funaki for still rocking in the big year 2025. Speaking of things that are happening, Aoki with the pants. That's pretty cool.
This is very much him in MMA fighter mode.
He is very much MMA fightered out. That explains why he wins this match. He is wearing his best Godzilla, black and purple.
Yes, he is.
And the match starts off with Funaki immediately going for the legs, which makes sense because Aoki is not wearing any kick pads.
And also he has little baby legs.
He does have little she legs. I know Funaki is handsome. Then Funaki's first kick sounds like a death.
Yeah.
It echoes throughout this gym.
Hurricane Hall.
This is Kirkin Hall?
Yeah.
This looks like a gym. That's crazy.
Well, I'm not sure if it's the main part of it or just somewhere else, but also no, it's an IGF show in 2017. Nobody is there.
Yeah, and it sounds like the crowd is like ribbing this match this whole time. Like if you turn on the audio, you just hear people laughing intermittently. The match is not funny.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny happening. They're just like I think they're just ribbing the performers this whole time.
Also, there's nothing funny, especially because Kazunari Murakami is in the main event, so it's gonna get progressively less funny as the show goes on.
There is nothing funny about Murakami aside from his bald head.
Yeah.
Funaki takes down Aoki, like immediately, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love how Aoki comes off as like a complete shithead in this match. I
He's
know
also
him.
he's also very clearly a fanboy of
Yeah.
the old like especially Pride era with Sakuraba, but just in
Mhm.
general like he clearly loves the Pancrase boys and just
Yeah.
all of that lineage of Japanese MMA and pro wrestling. And it's always really fun when you get to see someone with their idols, like earlier in the series when we had Bryan Danielson versus Blue Panther.
Yeah, or Eddie Kingston versus Jun Akiyama, etc., etc. I mean, if you work for AEW, eventually you're gonna work for your idol. You're gonna have a
Mhm.
match with your idol, it seems. That's why I will be joining AEW sooner this year, and I'll be having a match against Necro Butcher.
Wait, Will Ospreay's idols are Hayabusa and Misawa.
AEW will eventually have you have a match against your idol.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain what cocaine magic Tony Khan has working.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably Frankenstein. He's going to summon Frankenstein Masawa. Frankenstein Masawa sounds insane. He's just not going to no-sell you, hit you with the elbow. His arm's going to fall off. Crazy.
So what's funny to me about that leg kick you're talking about
Oh, yeah.
is
The
that
match.
the conceit seems to be that they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're doing some grappling, and then
Mm-hmm.
immediately he's like, nah, I'm gonna fucking kick the shit out of you.
No, it almost comes off as like a grappling exhibition at
Yeah.
first. It's just like, oh, look at Aoki being able to play with his idol, his old
Mhm.
ass idol, and then
Nah,
the
fuck you.
loudest kick ever silences the crowd from laughing. Uh,
Yeah.
just an
Immediately it's serious.
insane kick. It is so loud. Um, let's see. As I was talking about before, Aoki comes off as a little shit, similar to piss and shit era gear Kenta,
Yes.
when he's going up against like Tenryu. Um, Aoki sells the kick super well by limping. I assume that's not a
Immediately.
sell. I as-
Yeah.
I assume that's not a sell. I think he just kicked him right at the under part of his knee, and now he's just fucked up.
Which is hilarious considered, he's actively he has a fighting career,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just like, yeah, okay, leg kick
Yeah,
me.
whatever. Just Funaki just fucked my shit up. In Funaki, similar to Blue Panther versus Bryan Danielson, Funaki just wants to beat the shit out of this kid. He does not want to deal with this little fucker.
It is un fairness normal for him indeed.
It is I see what you did there.
Uh-huh.
Um, I note that it sounds like the crowd is riffing, and then the match just suddenly goes from 0 to 100. And they start just trading off. It starts off with a Sayama back kick, and then a
Yes.
mare to a PK.
Yeah, the PK like shifts the tone immediately.
Completely, it suddenly becomes a sprint. Fujiwara arm bars into a regular arm bar. Then I think I think that was Funaki who did the Fujiwara arm bar.
Yeah.
And then Aoki manages to get a triangle in. Uh, and then an arm bar. Then they roll around a little bit more, and then there's a go plata, and
Yep.
then there's a tap out. I wish I could detail more, but that is just the feeling of this match. It goes from, oh, okay, this is a nice little grappling exhibition. Oh, he's gonna kick him, and they're gonna walk around the ring a little bit. Okay, that's cool. Oh, okay, now the match is over. It's the pacing of this match is crazy.
And it is truly so good.
It's a fun little match. It's literally 6 minutes long. It is a great 6 minute match.
And
Very
what's
fun.
wild is it is one of his first singles matches.
Yes, it is insane how Aoki like is selling limbs very well. I'll add.
He's immediately so good at this.
He gets it. He gets it. Do you have any notes about anything
I
aside
just
from that?
I love the incorporation of BJJ
Mm-hmm.
into the pro wrestling here. Like winning with a fucking go plata is
Is
awesome.
is fucking sweet.
And it's such a fuck you to this old school like catch as catch can guy. And it like it, you know what I mean? Like it
No,
gets
yeah.
it gets like the shithead new like
guy.
younger. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I don't
The
know,
new
it's just
hotness.
perfect. It really
No.
accentuates his personality.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it like that. That makes a lot of sense. Using like this bullshit magic technique. The Go-Go
Yeah.
plotted looks insane, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's please
It-
actually we'll get to that later. We'll describe a go-go plot in a bit.
Mhm.
So if we're done with this match, we're gonna do a bit on this episode, where I am going to show you a Shinya Aoki submission,
Oh
and
no.
for the YouTube viewers, it'll be on screen, but for the audio listeners, you're gonna have to do your best to describe what he's doing.
Describing grappling?
Yeah.
Oh god, no. Good content.
All
Be
right.
scared.
Here we go.
Okay. Okay, currently I believe Aoki is the one grabbing onto the arm. Oh,
Yep.
nope, Aoki has got entrenching the arm, and he ripped out his shoulder. He has ripped out his shoulder using... Okay, we're gonna roll it back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Currently at 2.5 speed. I think
Yeah.
he does like a standing Fujiwara armbar,
That is correct. A Wakikatame.
a Wakigatame, if you will.
He's trying to go for a trip with this underhook, and then
Mhm.
decides to just rip it.
Ah, fuck it, I'll just rip out your shoulder, brother.
And you can see his what's his elbow? You can see his elbow just pop.
Yeah, it just rips out his elbow.
You can see how noodle arm it is.
Just completely fucks his shit up. Aoki just looks up at the ref and is just like, "Will you have mercy today? Because I will just start tearing at this dude's shoulder more or elbow."
You can
Fucking
see him actively processing what he's done, and he is very courteous and not throwing ground and pound, even though he could have gotten some shots in.
Which is off character from what I can tell of Aoki.
Yeah.
Aoki
Well,
will...
he's not a dirty fighter, but he
No.
does have attitude.
He does have attitude. That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Yes, it is a standing Wakigatame. He has an underhook, and he's trying to go for a trip from that position. Which like a guy like Islam Makhachev will do similar throws against the cage. In this case, the ring ropes. But he realizes he can break his arm, and so in a split second does that.
That's that killer instinct you gotta have.
And he does hit the judo throw after breaking his arm.
He breaks his arm and then tosses his ass to the ground.
It is
it is nasty.
disgusting. It's so rare that a grappler is this brutal, especially one who does things as pretty as he does.
Absolutely. It is. He is the nastiest dude to ever do beautiful shit ever. It's awesome.
So, speaking of beautiful men, not, but actually, yes. We're gonna go to DDT in 2022.
And that match would be
Kazusada Higuchi
Higuchi versus Shinya Aoki
for the KOD openweight title.
We start off. And,
what happens before the match?
Oh, cool! Kazusada Higuchi is becoming champ now for the tag belt.
Yep,
that's pretty cool. I hope nothing bad. Hey, wait a minute. What's Aoki doing? What's that little son of a... What is that son of a bitch doing? He's cashing in. He's cashing in on Kazusada Higuchi. Aoki cashes in on him, and they just formally start a match for the world title after Gooch just had a tag team match. It's crazy. And the match starts with Gooch just very hesitant to want to go anywhere near Aoki at this point, because he knows he's gassed. Aoki, he knows what Aoki will do to his arm. He's obviously a big fan of MMA, so he was watching that match, that fight we were watching before with broken arm. He's like, oh no, that fucking guy can hit me with a whatever the judo word is.
Wakigatame.
I call that. Oh, that's like my name, the Wakigatame.
I mean,
I
yeah,
created it.
Fujiwara armbar's cooler.
Fujiwara armbar is just how I know it. The salt of the earth, if you're really based.
Mm-hmm.
Aoki starts limb targeting immediately. Just
He's
starts
so
kicking
good at this.
He is just kicking the shit out of Higuchi's arm. It is crazy. And then he gets in this like tiger suplex ass pin. The Aoki is really good at setting up pins in his
Yes,
matches.
so this is the weird thing. You would assume that he thrives the most in an environment like IGF where it's knockout or submission, normally no, or at least in that it was no pins.
Mm-hmm.
So you assume that's what he thrives in, but no, he's a fucking genius at pins, which makes sense because judo has pinning as a winning condition.
That makes sense. He definitely wrestles like, what if a shooter was allowed to do pinfalls? It's very
Yeah.
cool.
It's like
You don't.
he is trying to is trying to we've talked about this before
Mhm.
mostly when we're talking about lucha grappling, but mostly we think about pro wrestling as you hit a guy with a finisher and it's like he's knocked out so he can't kick
He's
out,
rocked.
right?
He's rocked.
But
Yeah.
here we're being very cognizant that the way you win is keeping their shoulders on the mat for 3 seconds.
He gets it. He understands that assignment perfectly.
And so he's going to use all of these like judo things where you or amateur wrestling methods to get that pin.
It's incredibly cool, and he is like setting up like tiger suplex ass pins. He's like doing dragon suplex position pins out of his really mean looking full Nelson. This is not the match.
Sometimes he'll even roll for a leg lock and then turn that into a pin.
Yeah, he's somehow like one of the best pinning guys like to ever do it. And
Yeah.
he's a fucking shoot fighter. It's crazy.
Yeah. He's amazing. He's immediately amazing. And so yes, Higuchi is incredibly hesitant.
He is so
He
good at expressing the pain of his arm. I feel the pain.
It's so crazy that he's an underdog if you look at each of them physically.
Yeah, shitty little Aoki versus like big bastard sumo Gooch is crazy.
Yeah.
I guess I should say skinny or big bastard sumo guy.
And so the arm work is really just what's great about this.
My favorite part about the arm work is that like at like the start, Gooch like tries to go for like palm strikes and stuff like that, and they're not doing anything because he's using the arm that is like in pain. So like Aoki does like this really shitty little like slap to his arm, and
Yes.
Gooch just sells it, and it's so good. Super super sweet, and Aoki tries to go for like an armbar in a bit, and Gooch just picks him up. If it was a guy like me, I'm hitting him with a fuckbuster. I'm just dropping him directly on his head. But Gooch is very kind, so he puts him on the top rope, like you're putting your baby in a crib, or one of those like Texas Roadhouse. What are those called?
Texas Roadhouse.
You sit the child at the edge of the
Booster seat.
booster seat. Is that what that's called?
I
It's got
think
like
so.
it kind of looks like like a lifeguard tower,
High chair.
high chair.
Booster seats when it's in
Yeah.
the car for a kid. That's what I
Yes.
was thinking of.
Yes.
High chair.
I hope this makes it into the final cut.
It's making it. I only really cut out awkward pauses.
Okay. Insane tackle from Gooch. Actually Gooch tosses Aoki off the top rope and then does his sumo tackle, and it looks sweet because Aoki weighs like 5 pounds wet, so he just gets launched across the ring.
The feeling of weight in this match, I mean, we talked about feelings of weight in our Hino episode last week, but yeah, you can feel the difference in size.
He is just like smashing through Aoki with power moves. I love. Okay, so here's the thing with DDT sound work. I had mentioned in the last episode that I loved the sound of Gooch versus Hino.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it sounds so quiet is because both of those guys are not handsome. In this, well, I mean, Gooch is handsome, but like not in the like
pretty
Yuki
boy way.
Ueno way.
Yeah.
Where it's gonna have like the constant choir of ladies squealing. So in this Aoki Gooch match, there is just complete silence.
Yes.
So I think every time I note the sound design, it is when it is two ugly fuckers beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
So I note that every chop sounds earth rattling. Because as it turns out, Gooch is really good at chops. Not as good as Hino though, the goat. Then there's a Dr. Bomb attempt, which is pretty sweet. I love the Dr. Bomb. But he's not able to lift up Aoki because of his fucked up arm. It's so good. So good. Then there's a Fujiwara armbar, which is pretty sweet. And then there's a Suicida. Who would have thought that Shinya Aoki, one of his like signature moves is a Suicida.
And then a King Kong knee drop.
And then a King Kong knee drop. It's insane. And then my favorite shooter move. The octopus stretch.
The Manji Katame, brother.
Oh, the Manji Katame. Oh, that's a Manji Katame, dude.
He doesn't quite have the full Gabe Kid Inoki face, but it
No,
does
but
look
he gets there.
look deeply painful.
You know, shout out Gabe Kid, gotta be my favorite Inoki impressionist.
And what's hilarious is that he tries to as Higuchi's comeback is about to start, Aoki tries to go for an arm triangle choke, which is like considered one of the most like boring chokes, at least visually. And I think he's mostly doing it because it requires the shoulders to be down while you're doing the arm triangle choke. So he's doing a submission, I think, to pin him.
Yeah, there's a thing that Aoki does where he like pins and submits at the same time too. Where like if he can't pin you, then he's submitting you at the same time. He does that in a later match we'll talk about.
It's genuinely fucking brilliant.
It's very smart. But sadly he is going up against a man that is just simply stronger than him. So Gooch does the iron claw and then slams him like crazy style. Just like a judo throw iron claw. It is crazy how much tilt he gets on this. It looks like he like spikes it.
Yeah, it's a judo throw in the same way that Akira Tawe's finisher is a judo throw.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my god. And then to really, if that wasn't enough brain damage for you, Gooch waddles over to Aoki and then deals a shoot headbutt knockout. Oh,
yeah.
it's fucking crazy.
Once again, this guy fought like 3 times that year.
He fought 3 times and he's having a banger like this.
Yeah, where he's getting brain damage.
Aoki, please, my soul is yours if you become a full-time worker.
Please. This has been so recently Joseph Montesilio's year-end video came out, and he's been a recent convert of the Aoki fan club. And part of that entry was just him begging Aoki to do a full-time year as a wrestler.
And I gotta agree, I need it in my life. It was so good. It's so good.
Yeah,
It's
this is maybe the most aside from I think the Blue Panther episode when we were talking about the Villano match. This is
Mhm.
the most like excited, like joyful I've had while talking about a match for this podcast
it's
because
like
it's so fresh. I think what Aoki does.
yeah, it's so yeah, just
It's something
the
I
yeah,
legitimately haven't seen before.
it's great. He's a wholly unique performer, and he is great. It's you know it's kind of crazy how much MMA fighters transfer into pro wrestling.
And a
Like
lot of that makes sense, but
it, of course, but like it's crazy. Um. Anyways,
and
our
so we're gonna
next
go
up.
back. We're gonna go back to our
Okay.
bit,
Okay.
and you're gonna break down another Aoki submission.
Oh fuck. Oh no.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So currently he is locked in a Kimura. He is wearing the craziest colored pants I've ever seen.
Hammerlock. He has a
Hammerlock.
hammerlock.
I don't know. I don't know submissions. I just work here. Uh, awesome music in the background.
Yep.
Uh, he has got it just totally cinched in. You should probably tap at this
There's the
point.
pop.
Hey, snap, crackle, and pop. That
Oh
is
god,
all
that was
sorts of
gross.
wrong.
We're
That
going
is
to
so
we're gonna slow
wrong.
it down a little bit.
Oh.
So he has the back of
Mhm.
Mizuto Hirota.
Mhm.
He has a hammerlock, which is
Of course.
insane because it's a pro wrestling move. And Mizuto is trying to turn to a hip. And Aoki is cranking his neck for extra meanness with his other
This
hand.
fucking freak. I like Hirota's Minoru Suzuki hair.
Yeah, and so he is now turning the hammerlock in,
Mhm.
and rolling over because to the side so we can get a full torque. And
Just
we get to the
nasty.
break, which please describe the motion for our audio listen. Oh,
Oh no!
oh,
My God, he twists and shouts that shit.
oh,
He just
oh,
he just rips it all out. He just
oh, yeah. And
just
then he proceeds to stand up and flip him off.
it's like how I forget what the tool is in gardening, but you like shove it into the ground and then you turn it.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
motion he does
Post
to
hole
tear
digger.
out his shoulder. A what?
Post hole digger.
A post hole digger. That is what that is. Yeah, he just hits him with a post hole digger.
Hmm.
Uh, I will definitely be pulling that out during my next BJJ roll.
Oh yeah, just the hammer. Because I've used a like I didn't submit anyone with a hammerlock. I've done that before when I'm just fucking around, just
Mm-hmm.
like to try to force like a change in position. But yeah, it's the fact that he clearly has like tried this in the gym that makes it even worse. Because of like the note of he knows that he needs to move from having the back to sort of go to the side. Like he knows he needs to finish it that way. So he's clearly practiced this. And the
Mm-hmm.
addition where he's neck cranking him to try to get him to turn over the way he wants him to.
It's so nasty. It's so gross.
But with that, we go to the next match at DDT April Fool of last year.
Would this be versus
Chihiro
Mr.
Hashimoto.
No, it would be the other match. That is the main
Yes.
event. Okay.
Yeah.
Chihiro Hashimoto. Shout out. Gotta be one of my favorite Joshi wrestlers out.
Yeah, my
Right up
favorite.
there with Sari. Um, absolute beast.
Yes.
And somehow it's this match is really interesting because first off it starts off with an epic ad for a different show.
Yes.
But more importantly is that it is a complete inverse of
Yeah.
a intergender match.
Yes.
Where Chihiro Hashimoto is the like powerhouse between the
Yeah.
two and
Because
Aoki
Shinya
is
Aoki looks like a guy who jogs sometimes.
yeah, he looks like he would be on like long distance running would be his
Yeah.
long distance uh like ultra marathons. He doesn't look like a combat sport boy. But
And Chihiro Hashimoto is a jacked woman who does suplexes and was like she just barely missed qualifying for the Olympics.
she really is like the female Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, she looks crazy.
She's God, I love Chihiro Hashimoto. She's so fucking cool. She really okay, this is a crazy thing that a lot of like dudes like pro wrestlers will do is that they'll like put the name of their move on like their like speaking of Yuji Hino, the fucking bomb pants or the
Yep.
fucking bomb like underwear, whatever you want to call it. Then Chihiro Hashimoto has the belly to back suplex singlet.
Yeah.
Why do you do that? It doesn't.
She's gonna be nice. She's gonna tell you.
But I mean, it works every time, I guess.
Yeah.
Because she's just that good. I don't know. Built different.
But this is importantly, it's a exhibition with a 15-minute time limit.
Yeah. Eat your heart out, G1 climax.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
You go too long.
Mhm.
Chihiro Hashimoto is easily the most confident when going up against Aoki.
Yeah.
Willing to go toe to toe with him the whole time. Hash is like faster than Aoki, which is strange.
Yeah,
she's
she's
more
stronger
explosive, I
and
would say.
faster.
Yeah, she is got like every advantage in the book against Aoki. And Hash just starts twisting the shit out of his leg. But Aoki like flips her out of it into a full Nelson.
He loves a full Nelson.
He really loves that full Nelson.
Getting that over like Bobby Lashley, not with obviously it's not with the Hurt Lock where he's doing it via strength, but it's like he's technically applying it in a way where he could end a match by turning that into a pin or a submission.
Yeah. I do not want to see Shinya Aoki do this in a shoot because he will just break someone's neck.
The battle for back control is amazing, where they're just seamlessly just flowing through the grappling.
Yeah, Hash is able to break free of that full Nelson by turning it into her own full Nelson, which is pretty sweet.
This is legitimately some of the highest level chain wrestling I've seen in a pro wrestling match.
It's incredible. They are flowing in and out of each of these moves incredibly well. But giving it just enough time to like sell the pain of the like moves.
Yeah, because a lot of it is just grabbing a full Nelson and trying to grind their back and neck.
I note here, shout out the DDT ref guy. Have we talked about DDT ref guy? I hate to break from the grappling discussion.
No, we have not, but give him some time.
Okay, so DDT ref guy. He is this he looks like a very normal just Japanese dude. He's got the crazy goatee. He looks like I forget the owner of DDT's name.
Oh, why am I also blanking?
Why do we blank on
Sanshiro Takagi.
Sanshiro Takagi. He looks like Sanshiro Takagi's like bestie from like high school. That he just is like, hey, I'm starting up a promotion. Do you want to be a ref? And he's just like, okay. And he kind of refs like it too. He's obviously very good. He's able to.
Yukinori Matsui.
Matsui.
Yeah.
Mr. Matsui. I love your work. I don't know why you count pins like the way you do.
But it's okay.
He goes 1, 2, 3. At least it's consistent every time.
Yeah.
But it is super slow. And he doesn't even really say 1, 2, nor 3. He just kind of goes 1, 2, 3. It sounds like he's in pain. I think he needs to work on your shoulder there, buddy. Shout out DDT ref guy. I've already forgotten your name, sadly, but you seem like a very
Sweet.
lovely man. Back to it. Hash wants to escape this hold so bad she kicks the cameraman directly in the face.
Nice.
And then Hash locks in a reverse Nagata lock. I don't know what to call that shit. But it looks like it sucks ass to take.
Not fun.
Then Hash gets a waist lock, just to scare Aoki. But manages to lock in an octopus stretch, which is usually an Aoki move. So that's kind of a big flex there. I love how Aoki pins and submits basically in one movement. What I'm talking about here is I think he has her in I forget what this pin is called, but it's like where you have both your shoulders on the ground, but he's like also getting in like a leg lock of sorts. Like an ankle lock or something. I don't know what it is. I think actually, is this the match where that happens? No, it's not. But it's a crazy looking pin and submission. And then there's a gut wrench suplex.
Yep.
Just absolutely tosses that little bastard. Then an assault driver to pin combo. It's not necessarily an assault driver, but I don't know what else to call it. I guess it's a test of strength toss. To a pinning combo from Aoki. The pace is incredible this whole time. They really get a lot out of these 15 minutes.
Yeah, it flies by in a good way.
Incredibly mean strikes from Aoki in the corner. I think at one point just full ass knee strikes Hashimoto, and
He believes in equal rights and equal lefts.
It's true. It's true. And yeah, that's true, just like Kenny Omega.
Yep. Noted woman fighter, Kenny Omega, but not in the John Jones way.
No, well, I mean, he did beat the shit out of that child.
Yeah.
But after those mean ass knee strikes, spear,
Yes,
crazy spear.
If she finished every match that way, I would be okay with it.
The spear is one of the best like wrestling moves ever, and it is literally just a football tackle.
Well, it's just all dependent on who's doing it, right? Like if you buy
true.
that, like, well, because like imagine like think about all of like the stick bug, like really skinny
I'm thinking
Joshi wrestlers. And just imagine like Mayu Iwatani. Imagine a spear out of nowhere from Hashimoto and what that would look like.
Oh, that poor girl. Her back is currently in 12 different places across the ring.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, great spear. Add that to your finishers, Hashimoto. Please. We beg you.
Every match, she wins every match, and they with that. But it has to be out of nowhere, like off the ramp.
Yeah, like Gore style.
Yeah.
Really sweet. Vertical suplex because she's ruining the business and ruining the spear. Hash not letting go of the waist lock is incredible to show her desperation. Oh, yeah. This is when they're in the ropes.
And also, she is much stronger than him.
Yes, by a large margin. Then there's a belly to back from Hashimoto. Super sweet. I can see that's why it's written on her singlet. And then Aoki locks in the Aoki lock. I believe that's the Aoki lock.
Yes.
Okay.
He kind of changed the Aoki lock into heel hook.
Yeah.
Because one attacks for those who don't know, it's the same setup of the same sort of leg entanglement. But the heel hook attacks the knee, and the ankle lock, the Aoki lock attacks the ankle.
It's very sweet. Then they reverse out of it, but Aoki gets in a rear naked choke. And then I think I'm Chandler versus Oliveira as I do some backpack sentons.
It's so fun. I love that spot.
The only way that Hashimoto can escape this is to roll to the outside, and then Aoki hits the Family Guy death pose on the outside. It's so sad that Aoki died.
R.I.P.
And then Aoki and Hash reverse out of their stuff beautifully. And Aoki just starts moving on all fours like a child going upstairs motion.
That's still how I go upstairs.
Well,
when no one's looking.
I mean that you can't
Uh,
admit
sh-
that in
show-
front of the hoes. You're gonna scare them.
Show me a man who has not done that as an adult just for fun, and I show you a liar.
It's very fun. I still do the double step up. Guy like
Oh
me.
yeah.
If I'm not doing that, then I'm doing double steps up. And then the bell rings and it's a tie.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet. It's a really cool match. Bell to bell.
Yeah. It's one of the better intergender matches I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And yeah, I agree.
And it's really cool seeing someone with a similar like pedigree and shoot grappling of Hashimoto, who's just an amazing amateur wrestler.
And she does an excellent. I mean, when you're gonna put up two world-class athletes against each other, you're gonna get some magic.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so we go actually first. We're gonna watch one more submission.
Oh, but I can't we do this all night? Just watch
Shinya
Aoki
matches.
break people's arms.
Okay, here we are.
Okay, currently wearing the gay little tights.
Yep.
When you see the footage, you won't call me a homophobe. Oh, okay. And he's locking in a arm bar. And then he gets punched in the face.
He's in full guard.
Oh, okay. Is that rubber guard?
Triangle.
No, that's a triangle.
Go.
I don't know what a rubber guard is. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Wow, he's flexible. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, Go Plata. Go Plata. He's locking it in. He's getting it, and it's up. Yes, sir. Yeah.
And so yes, Shinya Aoki starts from half guard, goes to full mount, rolls for the armbar, doesn't get it, does a shoulder crunch into a triangle choke, bails on that, and just in the course of working that, he's just like, hey, I can just get a go plata, so he just does.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And for those not familiar, a go plata is one of the most disgusting BJJ submissions because from your back, you just take your shin and just jam it against their neck.
It's so funny looking too. It looks like
magic. You just pull on your own shin and connect it in a triangle.
And then suddenly they fall asleep. It's crazy.
Yeah, and he specifically does the version that the greatest autist in BJJ, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, they have a variation of the go plata where you then take your other leg and put it on their neck to push them even deeper into it. So that's what he does. That's the Eddie
so
Bravo
funny.
one.
Shout out. That's so funny.
But yeah, it's gross. Now we come to our final match.
It would be Aoki versus Ueno. Yuki Ueno.
At DDT Summer Vacation Memories 2024.
Just crazy names for DDT. Sometimes it almost verges on Zack Sabre Jr. move.
Yeah.
Territory. But it's still very cool. My first note here is I can see why Ibushi gets pissed off by the DDT Ibushi impressionist, because Ueno looks shockingly similar to Ibushi.
Young Ibushi,
yeah. If he ate more, because
he very much set a trend on what the top guy in DDT was going to look like.
Yep. Your Takeshita's of the world. And now I guess Ueno's.
Yeah.
after Takeshita moved, but he's back. So yeah.
Tetsuya Endo, but he's more of in his god tier juicing mode right now.
He is so juicy. It is insane how juiced up that young man is.
That young 30-year-old man.
He is very young. He is very youthful.
Yeah.
My favorite young man, John Moxley. I can't wait for him to make his way up in the world. Anyways, I note also the high-pitched screaming. I really missed it, and it actually was grating on me for a little bit, but then I got over myself.
We're back, baby.
Aoki
it's time for screaming women.
Yeah. But I'm screaming men. Aoki begins with a lockup, which
this is for the title, by the way.
This
for
is
the
for
KOD
the
openweight title.
Yeah. So I was watching a bit of the material beforehand. I didn't understand a word of it. But it kind of looked like Aoki just walked up to Ueno after one of his matches and said, "I want a title match, young man." And
Yes,
Ueno was like, "Okay." And now they have a match. Sometimes you don't need build up for matches.
No. You can just kind of show up.
You just kind of show up. For some reason, Ueno wants to grapple with Aoki.
He is not maybe the smartest.
No, they do not make him smart in the Ibushi factory. In the Ibushi Corp. What was Ibushi's one warrior nation? What was that called?
I can't remember.
It's Ibushi Tech. It's Ibushi.
Yeah.
Corp.
Ibushi Goon.
Ibushi Goon, and it is only Ibushi. Then they get some side control and mount pins, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then they start doing the Walter ZSJ PWG pin sequence.
It's like almost like whimsical.
It's very whimsical. Considering they're comparables like weights. I mean, obviously Ueno weighs more than him.
One in a little better looking shape.
Yes. Yes.
A little.
Yeah. Ueno is playing in Aoki's world of shooter pins.
And it is a bad idea.
It is a very bad idea. Aoki then locks in my favorite karate submission, the full Nelson. But he manages to get a clever escape with the knee, which is very cool. And then Aoki manages to turn it into another pin. Then he starts ankle picking.
He's going to his bag in terms of shoot moves.
Yes.
An ankle pick is maybe the most disrespectful amateur wrestling move there is.
I note here, oh no, I might actually know what's happening sometimes. This is truly a sad day. Back when we started this podcast, when I was deeply confused and very quiet.
You're getting smarter. Congratulations.
I want to stay ignorant.
Don't worry, BJJ doesn't actually make you smarter.
No, it does not. In fact, I think it's made me. No, it's made me smarter a little bit. I think. I don't know.
Now you can speak Portuguese fluently.
Well, I sit there. I sit my white ass down and I let a Portuguese man speak at me. That's what I do.
A Brazilian man speaking Portuguese.
Yes. Well, yeah. Anyways, Ueno throws Aoki into the post. Which is pretty cool.
Can we talk about how fucked up his face and teeth are? Because we get a lot of camera time for Aoki's fucked up face.
Okay, I'm being very. I swear to God, look me dead in the eyes and tell me that Aoki does not smoke, because he's the yellowest teeth I've ever seen.
He claims to not smoke.
I don't believe him. I've heard his voice. And there's a reason why I went with grandpa voice. He sounds aged.
Yes, you said he sounds like Tenryu, which is true.
He sounds like Tenryu, which, for those who have never listened to Tenryu commentary,
enjoy.
I'm sure it sounds insane in Japanese too, because I bet you can't understand him in Japanese either.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's Mongolian, just chanting. It's insane.
On the note of understanding what's happening real quickly, because we can talk about
mhm,
the opening like full Nelson exchanges.
mhm,
Um, he's Aoki is basically doing like the most simple amateur wrestling maneuvers he can to just bully him.
mhm.
Because the first full Nelson pin is like one of the first ones they'll show you from that back position. He hits a switch a few times. Like he's just doing
Mhm.
like like day one amateur wrestling on him
Just
and
to
just
show how
toying with
out of
him.
Ueno's depth he is.
Yeah,
But Ueno is a pro wrestler, so he just throws Aoki into chairs.
yeah.
Crazy. And then starts doing a stretching routine after the ankle pick.
hmm
I don't think
And
Ueno has
the crowd is liking this.
the crowd is having a great time. Um, and Ueno for some reason tries to grapple with Aoki and the expected results occur again. And then the absurd pinning combo. You're gonna see an image on screen. The
hmm
absurd pinning combo. Uh, I'm gonna pull up the picture again. I don't know how to describe it. It's it's like if you do a banana split on yourself, and then you grab the dude's leg, and then
Believe
you
it is a rolling Japanese something something.
what?
Takada did it.
Oh, okay. So that's where you learned that from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe the only thing Takada can teach you.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Aoki backpacks onto Ueno and cranks the face, but Ueno escapes, leading to Aoki kicking the bottom rope. He's not happy.
But what I
Uh,
love is that whenever he always has an answer, is that whenever something doesn't work, he just switches.
mhm.
Like it's so lightning fast.
Yeah, it's incredibly cool. But Aoki goes to the outside, and he probably should have learned his lesson as well from the last time. So Ueno does the meanest looking body slam I've seen in a while. And then does a ringside shining wizard without the step up.
Yeah.
He just tosses his whole body towards him. And just it's a crazy looking shiny wizard.
Just
Um,
full
I'm
fuck you.
I'm assuming at this point, uh, Aoki gets a thumbtack in his back.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hanging out there. There's no real selling of it, or he pulls it out at all. It's just there the whole
It's just there
match.
from a previous match.
Yeah, it was probably from some hardcore match that happened earlier in the night, and it just wasn't swept up well.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm looking. Oh, no hardcore matches.
really, not even. Is there anybody that does hardcore spots?
Yeah, Harada has a match, so I assume it has to be that.
Yeah, right.
It's not
Um,
specified as a hardcore, but I would have to assume
I mean,
if anyone got the thumbtacks out, it'd be Harada.
yeah. But Ueno does a crazy frog splash.
Yes, he does.
Um, and then the boys start throwing some stiff ass strikes, and Aoki just wins in that realm too.
Yeah, he's just
Uh,
better.
he's just better at everything Ueno tries to throw at him. Um, well, that is until Ueno does the Will Ospreay jump up, does not scream, and then does a fully
Mm,
backpacked rear naked choke.
yeah,
Which is pretty crazy, and then he does a triangle. Shooter Ueno,
yeah.
everybody. But of
It,
course, Aoki reverses out of this triangle into a pile driver because the
yeah,
power bomb was getting too much attention.
it's like it's like cute watching Ueno try the triangle choke.
It's very funny. Then there's a Gilly. I believe it's Aoki who locks it in.
Mm-hmm.
And Ueno solves the guillotine by doing a Northern Lights suplex, of course.
Which is like just such a fun transition.
Mm-hmm. And then Ueno throws a Shining Wizard at Aoki. Then a double wrist lock armbar, which I have been put in. It
Mm-hmm.
sucks.
Not
Um,
fun.
it fucking sucks. And then a suicida from Aoki. Uh, crazy. Somehow it's suicida to King Kong knee drop combo. I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense to him.
His King
Uh,
Kong knee drop, it's also very Sakuraba of Sakuraba having the famous Sakuraba stomp.
Mm-hmm. It's like, imagine, if you will, the Sakuraba stomp off the top rope. Did he do that? Has he done that? Did he
Oh
do
yeah,
that
he's
during
done
one of the
that.
matches? Okay.
Not an MMA fight, but yeah.
That'd be pretty cool if somebody was trying to pull guard and he just ran up to the corner post and just jumped off and did a stomp
I
to the
believe it
head.
is, even in Japan, it's illegal to climb the turnbuckle during a fight.
Boo! Boo! That sucks. It's boring. I hate it. Anyways, then there's an octopus stretch and an octopus stretch to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Aoki hulks up in this match, kind of, by
Yeah.
rooting around in the ground like a hog looking for truffles.
He just hates him so much.
That style.
I think I have Aoki's inner monologue right here.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. Put that in the chat.
Okay, hang on.
I'll put that on screen.
I'll just read it out. It says in like 6 different rows that evil twink will pay, and it says positive affirmations in 4 hearts.
Yep.
Pretty, hey, yeah, when you're right, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I love how Ueno sells the throwing of the strikes with pain after getting wrenched by the arm. It's pretty cool. And then there's a sick headbutt exchange.
Oh yeah, it's particularly fucked up.
And then there's a double, like the most beautiful drop kicks I've ever seen.
Oh, they're spicy meatball.
They're so gorgeous. And then the hammer and anvil elbows to octopus stretch. Pretty sweet.
Come on,
And
Danielson,
then,
stop being a coward in retirement and come face Shinya Aoki.
oh, that's what he missed out on the final.
He's
the
He's
final.
ducking him and Daniel Makabe, man.
They should have a 3-way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, then there's a is that an Aoki lock that finishes the match?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. It's like I recognize it, but I don't fully think I recognize it. I don't know. Aoki lock, and Ueno is just, he does not tap out and he passes out, and we have a new champ.
Yeah.
New KOD champ. Let's go. Very
And
sweet.
he would go on a brief but very fun little run there.
That's awesome. Shout out. Yeah, Shinya Aoki, huh? It's pretty cool. I like Shinya Aoki.
I also like Shinya Aoki, and I'm saying please, Mr. Aoki, quit getting shoot brain damage.
Please, brother, please. I need
Please,
I need you to stop doing MMA matches and start doing pro wrestling matches. You are so good at it.
You're ridiculously good at that.
You are like, people talk about like Kevin Randleman being good. You're better. It's insane.
And I will say, on April 18th in Mania weekend, he will be facing Timothy Thatcher. That's gonna be the match of the weekend.
That will be the match of your year, probably.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, very excited.
So we're very excited, assuming Aoki doesn't die in his last shoot fight. Please grace us with your presence.
Please, bro, please. I am begging you. I am begging on hands and knees.
Do you have any closing thoughts about Mr. Aoki?
Aside from begging to the stars and the world, Aoki shocked me. He shocked me with how good he is.
And especially since you don't always adore shoot style guys right away, but he just
I'm warming up to it now that I'm actually doing martial arts.
But he gets it. Like a non-shooter fan could just see him and love him.
Yeah, absolutely. He fucking gets it immediately. It's insane. He did not need to study for this test. He just went in and he aced it. He's crazy.
Assumably, he's just such a nerd about old wrestling and like old shoot style, that he was just like, yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I got this. We had won. And yeah, this has been. I think we don't have any more thoughts. We are
No,
empty.
it's
We are
just that
drained.
good.
Aoki good. I would like to say I like water. I like BS